Hey guys, you're back with Steph and Dennis, and today we're doing a deeper dive into our 2021 investing strategy. We recently posted our updated financial plans for 2021 overall, where we walked you through our expenses in depth and also talked about our plans for both saving and investing. Overall, we're both much more focused on investing this year, and we're using some new platforms to do so as well, like Wealthsimple and Questrade. Today is where we're really going to be diving into that investing strategy more, talking about what it is we'll be investing in and why we're using different platforms. So if you're excited for today's video, show us some love down below and let's jump into it.
Alright, so we want to first start off by going over why we're investing with platforms like Wealthsimple and Questrade as opposed to the big banks. And when it really comes down to it, it's pretty simple. Number one, minimum balances, right? So with platforms like Wealthsimple or even a Questrade, there aren't necessarily the same restraints when it comes to making certain investments. And number two, when it comes to the fees are significantly less. And, when it comes to the case of Wealthsimple, non-existent, right? Zero commission trading. Often at times, and if I even think about my own family, a lot of people are so scared to even open up another savings account with another bank, let alone bringing up a conversation about investing with a platform that's not one of the big five. And really what it comes back to is going with what the safer option is. I find that a lot of people are scared to invest in the stock market in general, especially on their own without a handholder, right? And it's interesting because if I think back to when I was in school, I took this course called Finance Ethics, and we spent this long period of time talking about all the different unethical practices that the bank has in order to make you more reliant on their services. If you think about all the different products that they push, at the end of the day, the idea is to get you so entangled in their ecosystem, their environment with all the different products that it almost makes it impossible for you to actually switch or look into other alternatives. So with all that being said, if you're someone who's watching this video, you're obviously someone who's willing to take matters into your own hands and actually increase your knowledge of investing. Basically, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go over our portfolio strategy and some of the thoughts we've been having on what we want for our individual portfolios. Once again, this is not us telling you what you should do with your portfolio. It's us just talking about some of the thoughts that we know a lot of other people have as well. And we're sort of just showcasing our journey and our process in making the best portfolio for us.
Okay, so for me, like I mentioned before, I'm finally diving more into investing this year. I do have about $30,000 in cash right now that's sitting in my high interest savings account with EQ Bank, and I'll be continuing to add about $1,000 per month to that this year. And my aim for that money is to go into a real estate investment within the next couple of years. Different people definitely have differing opinions on this. And if you are thinking of holding onto some cash for an investment that you're going to be doing in a longer period out, then maybe it makes sense to invest that in the interim. But for me, my goal is to really invest in real estate as soon as the right opportunity comes up. So now let's jump into what I actually am investing in this year. And as I mentioned before in my financial plan video, investing is still new-ish to me. So my plan and strategy will likely evolve over the year, and we'll definitely keep you updated on our channel as that continues to happen. Because I'm still only 24 years old and my plan is to invest for the long term, potentially all the way until retirement, I do have many years for my investments to grow. Because of that, my plan is to take a bit more of a risky approach with my investments in the market, because anytime there are ups and downs, I'll be able to ride those out, and hopefully any dips, I'll be able to recover over time. Because of that, for the foreseeable future, my investment breakdown will be 80% equities and 20% fixed income investments. I personally am going to be using two different platforms to start my investing for the year, both Wealthsimple Invest and Wealthsimple Trade. And like we mentioned before, we are going to do an in-depth review and tutorial all about how to use these Wealthsimple platforms coming up in I think 2 weeks from now. But for now, for me so far, I've really been enjoying how user-friendly they are. So I started out with an initial contribution and investment of $7,000 into my TFSA account within the Wealthsimple platform, and then the robo-advisor went ahead and invested that according to my 80-20 split. I'll make sure we throw up something on the screen right now so you can see exactly what was purchased among those categories, but it was a mix of US, Canadian, global, international, and emerging markets equities, along with government bonds and gold. Obviously, this is a more passive way to invest using a robo-advisor, but I am planning on contributing an additional $1,000 per month into this account, and we'll keep you updated on how it's growing and if that strategy changes at all throughout the year. Also, I did want to quickly touch on why I'm utilizing my TFSA TFSA for these investments. If you haven't seen them already, I'll make sure that we link the dedicated videos that we've done already, all about the TFSA and the RRSP on our channel. So again, if you haven't checked those out, you should look into them after this one. In my case, my plan is to, over time, eventually max out both my TFSA and my RRSP contribution room. But for now, I'm using my TFSA with the aim to keep my money in there until retirement. So in that perspective, it does act as a retirement fund as of right now. The next piece to my investing strategy is to jump into single stock investing. And obviously right now the plan is to ease my way into it and let me get more involved with my investing and more hands-on. And the amount that I'm contributing each month will likely grow over time, because right now my plan is to do $350 each month, which is obviously a pretty small amount. I have to say I've been having a lot of fun researching which companies I want to invest in first, and I'll actually update you which ones I choose for this first month of January in that upcoming Wealthsimple video that'll be posted a few weeks from now. But my plan is of course to ensure that I slowly build up a nice balance of different stocks, from blue chip stocks to dividends to speculative stocks, and also make sure I'm slowly diversifying across different industries as well, whether that's bank stocks or technology companies and everything in between. This is going to be my more hands-on investing for sure, and I can tell already that I'm actually really going to enjoy learning more and more about it and getting more involved over time. One thing I do know is that I want to spend a lot of time researching the stocks that I am going to be investing in. So in the short term, my plan is to invest in a few stocks that I can research really fully and don't take up too much of my time, and then slowly building on from there. So for now, it's going to be a really long and growing watch list compared to the few stocks I'm actually going to be investing in right off the bat. But again, I'll make sure we show you everything about that when we go into that Wealthsimple video in a few weeks.
Okay, so before I jump into my investment strategy, some of the things that I do want to touch on before we do that are some of the hurdles that a lot of people have been commenting from the previous videos we posted when it comes to Wealthsimple and some of the setbacks that Wealthsimple has currently. So right off the bat, we have to look into using Wealthsimple when it comes to buying US stocks and buying dividend-paying stocks using Wealthsimple, particularly US paying dividend stocks. So from what I saw in the comments from our last couple of videos, there are people who are utilizing the strategy of buying strictly Canadian stocks using Wealthsimple, and then US stocks, they're purchasing them using Questrade. So for anyone who has no idea what I'm talking about, basically when you buy a US stock, particularly a US stock that pays a US dividend, you're paying a conversion fee twice. One, when you purchase that stock, and then two, if they pay out that US dividend, they've got to convert it back to your home currency, in this case Canadian. So you're paying the currency exchange fee twice. So something that brokerages like Questrade have done is they've allowed you to have a US account where you can buy and you can hold US dollars. What is interesting about that would be if you had a US stock that was paying you out a US dividend, then that dividend could then go into your US account, as opposed to it being converted and then you having to pay that conversion fee the second time. Another key feature that Wealthsimple doesn't currently have for their trade platform is the DRIP functionality, so a dividend reinvestment plan. So when you're going ahead and you're purchasing these dividend paying stocks using their trade platform, if you want that dividend payout to be automatically reinvested back into the stock itself, they don't currently offer that feature. Now, with all of that being said, you can definitely make the argument that on the flip side, if you go to Questrade, there are still certain fees that you have to pay that you won't find at Wealthsimple. For example, one of the biggest selling features for Wealthsimple is the zero commission trading, right? I'll throw up what the fee structure is on the screen for Questrade, and obviously there are some downsides, especially when it comes to buying single stocks. But at the same time, for a more seasoned investor or for an investor who's looking for more functionality, there are certain features that Questrade has that Wealthsimple just doesn't currently have. So with all of this being said, we're simply weighing the options here. Something that Steph and I distinctly discussed is Wealthsimple's ability to innovate and how much we believe in that. For example, the changes that Wealthsimple has been able to make over the past year are honestly amazing, and it's them addressing concerns that their customers have. I mean, a year ago, they literally didn't have the account options that they have today. So that just goes to show you how quickly this platform is evolving and changing. And this is also why I think it's great that me and Steph are able to give you guys that contrast, right? With her being over at Wealthsimple, we can see how things are moving, and with me being over here at Questrade, we can see how things are also playing out, you know? I mean, who knows? In the future, I might hop over to Wealthsimple, but for now, this is where I'm starting. Okay, so in terms of my portfolio, I'm gonna be breaking out the allocations based on dollar amount. So like I said in my 2021 financial plan video, I'm gonna be breaking out $1,500 to a number of exchange traded funds. It's funny because the more you look into different funds, the more you go down the rabbit hole of which funds fund's the best, which fund should I hold in which type of account, should I hold it in my retirement account, what's going to be the most tax efficient way to hold these different funds. There's such a complete rabbit hole that you could go down. But like I said in the last video, I'm going to be keeping things simple. So my ETF portfolio is going to be a 90-10 split, so 90 to equities and then 10% to bonds. So when it comes to bonds, the funds that I'm looking into are VAB and VBU. Now on the flip side, if we look at my equities, the other 90% is going to be going to funds like VTI, it's going to be going to funds like XEF, XEC, and XIC. The last fund that I want to look into holding as well is the ARK fund, and I know that it's gained a lot of exposure in the last little while, but since I have the ability to build my own portfolio, part of that and what's important to me is also gaining exposure to what I would see as innovation. We'll see in the coming months what the actual allocation to these individual funds turns out to be, but in terms of my overall entire portfolio, so that includes cash, all of the above, these funds as of right now are going to account for 50% of my total portfolio. The other 50% is going to be broken up into two parts. So 30% of that is going to be all cash, and then approximately 20% is going to be single stocks.
So the last thing that we want to cover today in this video is actually addressing a few of the questions that we got from our previously posted financial plan videos. And again, if you haven't seen those ones yet, I'll make sure we link them down below or up top, somewhere around here for you to check out after this one. The one question we got from someone is how to actually start investing in the stock market. And I mean, actually doing it was their question, right? Like, how do you take step one? Sometimes when you see these videos or hear about people's investing strategies, there's a lot of details given, but you don't know how to actually take that first actionable step to start investing. So the first step is opening an account with different platforms like Wealthsimple or Questrade, like we mentioned today, or even with one of the big 5 banks if you're here in Canada, if that's more your jam. And then choose which type of account you want to use as your investment vehicle. So that could be a TFSA or RRSP or even a non-registered account. The next step is to decide what it is you want to invest in. So this could be like ETFs, index funds, or mutual funds. We do have a video breaking down what all of those options are, so I'll link that down below or up top for you too to check out after this video to give you more of a deep dive on that front. Or you could also invest in single stocks like we were talking about today. Also in that upcoming video that I keep mentioning because I think it's going to be a good one, we're going to walk you through the Wealthsimple platforms, but we're also going to show you exactly how I set up my account when I was doing it, as well as how to actually start investing in the stock market once I decided what platform I was going with, what investment vehicle I was using, and what I wanted to invest in. I think that Wealthsimple is going to be a great platform to demonstrate this on because it's really easy to visually see and understand what's going on, and then you can take those tips and methodologies and steps to whatever platform you're going to use. Lastly, keep in mind that these investing strategies of ours are just for the year of 2021, and even then we could change our mind and pivot throughout the year. Overall, like I mentioned, we are saving up some capital to do future real estate investing, so in the long term, our investing strategy is actually going to involve a lot of real estate investing as well. So for this year, we're continuing to save up, but we're also diving more into the stock market investing, and like I've said, we're going to share exactly how that grows and track it all for you throughout the year and update you on the channel, so stay tuned for that in our future videos in 2021.
All right, that's it for our 2021 investment strategy. Like we mentioned probably a billion times in this video, there are going to be changes in the next coming months, probably in the next coming years for sure. So if you haven't yet subscribed, now would be a great time to do so. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below or to the right, left. We'll definitely have a walkthrough video of the Wealthsimple platform coming up in the next few weeks, so make sure you keep an eye out for that one. And if you want to see a similar video but for Questrade, make sure you do let us know down below so we know that you actually want to see that. If you haven't seen our previous financial plan videos or in general money videos, make sure you do check them out next door. We will be back next week, so make sure you stay tuned and let's go.